YouTube?
The recording request is just like a general thing. Like apparently when you record a conversation, and Google Meets prompts this too, they're just like, hey, you need to ask for consent. And I always do, but I find it strange because the ask for consent is not recorded. So how can I prove that you gave me your consent?
That is weird.
It's a very strange thing. So, but anyways,
Yeah.
we're in it now, and it's very nice to see you. Like, the last couple of years I felt like I haven't seen you as much because you had your children, so you were away on mat leave, and then I switched over to the alternate Monday team, and so I wasn't playing with you for a little bit. So
That's
but I still feel like I don't know, like a bond with you because we've been playing together for so long, like
and no time has
2012.
passed.
Pardon?
No time has passed. What
No
are you
time
talking
has
about?
passed. Like, what is it? I looked up the rough date, and it was end of July, early August that we started, the email exchange from the forum where I picked you up. Another person that I picked off the forum that's paid off big time. It's 8 years like that. Well, 7.5, but it's still a long time.
Mhm. Oh yeah, it lines. It's super easy for me. It lines right up with my wedding anniversary.
Yes, that's right. I remember you played with us the first week, and then the very next week you're like, okay, well, I have my wedding. And that was really funny. I was like, oh, congrats.
Yeah, my mom was super pissed at me.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
remember feeling super self-conscious because I had like gotten some stuff prepped for the wedding. Like I
Okay.
had some fake eyelashes and like nails.
Hmm.
And then I went to go play soccer, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna show up with these fake lashes and nails. They're gonna think like, who is this person?" And then when I told my mom, and she's like, "You can get bruises. Like, what are you doing playing like a week before the wedding?" And I was like,
No, it was really great that you came out, and I can admit this now, 7.5 years later. I was very like, because in the email exchanges, you were like, I'm very this is my first time doing co-ed. Like I'm a little bit concerned. Like, and I remember telling Jamie, Oren, Nathan, amongst others who were on the team at the time. I was like, let's be super nice to this girl because we need a girl on the team and she wants to play and like she's nervous. So just be nice. And so I know that everyone was like extra nice on top of their usual niceness because we were all just like, we want you to stay.
yes, everyone was super nice. I remember that the first thing because I had subbed for a few teams as well before, and
Mhm.
like you'd show up and nobody would really say anything or talk to you. It was super awkward.
Yeah.
But as soon as I showed up, I think Jamie and Nathan were like, "Hey, what's up? Come in, come join the circle," which is super typical.
Yeah. Those guys, honestly, yeah, those guys are amazing. I've stated this in almost every interview, and like those guys are the reason why people a big reason, not the only reason, but a big reason why people have stuck around for so long. And so like they really helped set the foundation.
Yeah, I've
And
specifically
I,
heard it from
pardon?
people. I've specifically heard it from people too.
Yeah. And that's a great thing. Like I know, like I don't, I don't want to undercut, like, it's not, people sometimes also think like why people play with stuff. Like I do bring certain things to the table, but on like the foundation and everything of the bonds and stuff, like that's the people that goes for the men's team too. Like the people really, that's what's created the longevity in both teams. Like that Monday team has been together 2010. The men's team has been together 2013.
Yeah.
And as we continue to dive into this, I just want to take a moment and say hello to everybody watching. We're in episode 5 of Getting to Know, and today we are getting to know Kara. Kara is actually the OG of females. She is the OG right now. She has been with us since July of 2012. She has she's, top 10 of appearances of all time in our club with 246, and the rest of the stats at the bottom. She's played with us as a defender for pretty much all her time. 31 teams since the very first one, outdoor summer at Carleton. She's won 5 titles with us, including a Division 1 title in 2016 And of course, we gave her the Royal Matriarch Award in recognition of her mother hen contribution over the last 8 years with us, which is fantastic. So Kara, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
I guess I'll get this kicked off. Like, we kind of touched upon it a little bit before, but but what is your first memory with the club?
So, like we said, so when I first joined, I was super unsure. I had not played soccer for like 6 years, felt super rusty. I came and started with the women's team, and back then it was when Footy Sevens had like an open women's league.
Mm.
It was terrible. Like, it was just not competitive, right? Because it was open, and it was just, I don't know. I didn't like it, so I was like, okay, I need to try something else. So I saw your ad for the co-ed, and I reached out. I was nervous. You're like, no, it's good. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And then, so this is what the digging in. So I got I like copied and pasted one of the responses you gave me in terms of describing the team.
Okay.
It made me laugh. So to say, well, rest assured, the co-ed leagues are pretty fun, and the guys will rarely, if ever, go too hard when challenging a girl.
Yeah.
As for the team, we're a pretty young team, average age 24 to 25. Yeah. I was like, oh my God. I was like, so that's how old we are now. I can't really say that anymore. Easygoing team and intermediate level applies because we have some really talented players. And you said, honestly, I don't think anyone would mind how you play on the field as long as you're giving it your all and having fun. And I think that is like a great way to talk about the team, because that's really the nature, the spirit of the team. Like,
yeah,
everyone gives it their all, has fun, plays as a team. So
yeah, that's really funny. Like, I kind of remember writing, like, I remember framing it in that way because I really wanted to reassure you. I really wanted you to play with us because we really needed a female, and I really just wanted to reassure you that it was all going to be okay. And it's crazy. Our average age was 24, 25 at the time.
And then time happens.
And then time happens. Man, that's great. Like, I'm going to try to dig up that exchange too, so I can pop it up here if I can find it. I'm sure I have it stored.
Facebook keeps everything.
Pardon?
Facebook keeps everything. That's where I found it. I was able to like scroll all the way back.
Oh, you're going to have to send that to me because I purge my Facebook stuff.
Okay.
So if you can send that to me, that would be fantastic, and I can pop that up here. That's really great. Like, that's awesome. Like, okay, we've talked a lot about the club members. We've talked a lot about people. Like, I'm just going to straight up ask, like, we're all a lot of fun and stuff, but who do you think is the funniest member?
So I was thinking about this, and I watched Erica's, and I think what she said, like, I think we're all pretty funny as a group, but really just listening to like Nate, Jamie, Oren, and Mike just riff off of each other is the best. Especially like when you're on the sidelines, some of the sideline comments, and like they'll just keep going until like they offend someone. Well, not offend, but like, until someone on the team's like just groans, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's where you took it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful because those guys keep getting, like, if they're watching this, and I'm sure they are, they're getting their egos pumped so high because this is now 3 interviews where they're just like, the 3 of them, they're just great. It's just like, because Jamie kind of said the same thing, although I didn't ask him these questions, and yeah, so it's great. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's awesome. And like, just jumping around, how have you been keeping busy throughout this entire situation?
I don't know how you're going to cut this, but if people don't know me, I just had a baby on Valentine's Day, and nice. I have a 2-year-old. So having fun with the 2-year-old and a newborn at home. Luckily, John's home, so it's been a lot of help having him. So we're talking about the timing, how it worked out really well that I had the baby like right before this whole self-isolation thing.
Yeah.
So in Quebec, John gets 5 weeks of like parental leave.
Oh. Okay.
So he was just finishing that up and then went into work for like 2 days, got laid off, and now he's here. So it's been great. I mean, we have a big yard too, so Cooper can still play outside. It's not too bad. We're super lucky. So
That's wonderful. And Cooper's the name of your first child. What's the name of your second child?
Bowie.
Bowie. Yes, that's right. Fantastic name. I love those names. Cooper and Bowie. Such a wholesome family. And like I'm really glad that the timing worked out for you, like and in terms of when the child came and how it all worked out for you and John. Like obviously having the support of both parents there
Mhm.
is important. I just love the whole Arsenault family. Like you've got John, Kara, Cooper, and Bowie. you just
We'll
you
start
just
a sitcom.
you need a dog named like Lucky or Rufus or something, like just to
Our dog's name is Fox.
Nice.
It's
Your
not gonna,
dog's name is Fox?
yeah, it's not going to confuse Cooper at all.
And can I ask why you guys decided to name him Fox?
So I mentioned when we picked him up, like we got him from a rescue when he was like 7, 8 weeks old.
Okay.
And I made a comment that he looked like a fox. And John's like, yep, that's his name. And I was like, no, I didn't mean for that to be his name. And he's like, no, it's too late. That's his name. And so it stuck. I didn't get the winner on that.
And that's interesting because like from what I've understood about your dynamic with John, it generally tends to be that you have the final say on things. So it's kind of funny that John had the final say on such a big uh name,
I mean,
I
it's a dog. Like
guess.
he didn't have the final say on the names; those were together for the kids. But the dog, I think, you can have that one.
Oh, I see. You toss him a bone, as it were.
Yeah.
That's funny. Um, what just spreading a little bit of the positivity. What's one good thing to come out of this for you?
I've been now because I'm trying to stay local. It's hard for us to like go over the bridge, but I've been able to actually really click with my community, like locally, like in Elmer, and also really explore a lot of the local people. Like the other day, I found out they started like a neighborhood Facebook group for my neighborhood, which is kind of country-ish, so you don't really see the people as much. And one guy's like, "Hey, I have a cabana stick and I'm selling like maple products." I'm like,
Mm,
"Sweet, I'm
that's
gonna
pretty
go
cool.
support that." So I went and picked up some like maple products, and they're delicious. And just like other things like that, like just little places around town where I can like just go support. And one of them's like a donut place, and rivals like Susie Q, I would say. So
Wow.
very happy about that.
That's amazing, and I'm super jealous. I'm super jealous, especially about that maple stuff. Like, I'm not a big fan of maple syrup, but I am a big fan of like all other maple products. Like,
Yeah, so I didn't get maple syrup. I got like maple butter that's sealed that you put on the ice
oh,
and caramel maple. And when I went to go pick it up, he's like, "What? You don't want any maple syrup?" And I'm like, "Honestly, I have a lot of maple syrup in like cans, coffee, but that stuff, oh, so delicious."
yeah, that sounds really delicious, and I like that thing about the community too. That is something that I've noticed. Just out of necessity, people have been bonding more with their neighbors, and like I've noticed that too when I'm like just walking outside. Part of it has to do with the fact that I have a puppy and people will stop me for the puppy, but I've
Yeah.
also felt like the situation been has lended itself towards getting to your know your neighbors. Like I've lived in my neighborhood for 10 years, never knew the names of people, and now I'm starting to learn names, and
Hmm.
I'm
We're
like, it's
so
kind of nice.
desperate, so desperate for social interaction now.
Yeah, it's nice. To be honest, it's kind of nice, and I do hope that kind of sense of community continues as we go back to normal, which I'm hoping will be soon, as the curve is suspected to be flattening right now.
Yeah.
I also wanted to address an earlier thing that you said. Like, I don't actually edit the order of these interviews. I like to present them raw as they happen. It kind of gives it some authenticity. The only thing I really do is interject the images now, but I don't actually wrap anything around. I thought about doing that, but first of all, I'm not an amazing editor. I just have the limited skills that I've got. And the other thing is I really, for this show, I'm really just going for like an authentic kind of conversation vibe, and I think everybody's really responded to that from the feedback I've been getting. So don't worry if something comes off weird. I'm just gonna leave it in.
Perfect.
um, Speaking of weird, what do you think? Which? Let's assume you're in prison, which is a weird scenario because I can't imagine you ever being in prison. Uh,
Okay.
but what are you saying? You have a sordid history that you're going to share with us?
No.
All right, fair enough. But which member would you want to escape from prison with?
So I thought about this, and my answer is you, because I don't know if anyone knows you, but if they've ever talked to you about like stats or analysis in terms of like thinking like 10 steps ahead, like anytime we were in like a tournament situation, you'd be like, okay, if this team loses by 1 point and then that team wins and then that team's ties, then we need to get 5 goals. And it's like, how do you know all this stuff off the top of your head? So that crazy memory, I think, would be good for like, I don't know, analyzing patterns of guards, whatever we need to do.
That's I'm really relieved that you're not throwing me to the wolves like Adele did. Like I'm still traumatized by his response.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that, and it's interesting. Like it's a good point about having to observe the patterns of guards and stuff. But then again, my only knowledge of escaping prison comes from TV. So
I didn't even watch Prison Break, so you have that on me.
Uh, uh, yeah, that's fair. I'm happy with that answer. So thank you, Kara. I feel very blessed. Um, just a fun memory of like the tournament stuff. I remember what happened to me? My leg, I injured my leg and I got all the stitches on my left leg. And so we had the charity tournament, and which was on a Friday that year. We did it at the Louis Riel on a Friday. And I remember I was in crutches, just hopping around, getting to the stats and getting to the thing. And I remember Park telling me like, or you guys telling me, you guys told me. I went to go figure out some stats. I told you who you guys were playing against, and then I went to go do some more research. And Park came and told you guys, yeah, you guys are going to be playing. And then everyone was like, yeah, we already know. Seb came over and told us. And he's like, how the fuck is a guy on crutches faster than me? Like, so yeah, that's a good one for me. Um, I I now want to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
what is your favorite memory, if you can nail one, or one of your favorite memories?
I don't have one, but I did list off a few. Some
Okay.
of them is more like an actual like example, whereas others is just kind of generally. So one of the ones, speaking of the charity tournament, Louis Riel, was
Mhm.
that charity tournament. We went so far, like much further than we thought. We got to the semis, I think, but the amount of shootouts that we needed to do to get there was ridiculous. And we didn't. I think we were only had 3 girls. We were all like so tired. They kept falling like flies. I think Gina was playing with us at the beginning and then like hurt her ankle.
Mhm.
Um, and we were just 3 girls. And I think there was one game where we went through the team like 3 times, or at least the girls did, for the shootout, and just like getting shots stopped and going in, but the other team getting it in, and that was really fun.
Before you go on to your next one, because I do remember that tournament. That's probably my, apart from the one that we just did, is probably my favorite tournament. So just to give some more context to everybody, like that was in 2014. Our team was called Legion of Fun, and that was back when it was at Louis Riel, and they did the afternoon, they did the morning, the afternoon, and we made it to the round of 16, and we actually played against the team called Misfits in the round of 16.
Mm-hmm.
And we went down in that game. We came back to tie it, and then we went to penalties. And that was like the reason why you went to kick the penalty is because earlier in the group stage, we were winning like 6-0. I bribed the ref to get a penalty for you because you normally don't score goals. And then you shot a penalty that was so great and it came out of nowhere. And everyone was like, what? And I was like, this is useful information. because I sent you up as the first girl every single time, and you nailed 100% of your penalties that day, and I think you shot 5 or 6. In the one where it went over, we were against the Killer Bees in the quarterfinals, and you were the difference. You were the reason we won because their girls ended up missing it, and you nailed yours both times. And I was like, so it's great. Like, I just wanted to make the point of like, you out of nowhere nailed these penalty kicks, and you went 100% that day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it, but it happened. Now I try to avoid you every time because you'll always put me first. All right, some of the other ones. Let's see. Well, the A championship. That was pretty much like the highlight of the whole team's career. That was what we were aiming for, like the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And then the medals.
Yeah, great. I love it.
So, if for those who don't know, Seb has a history of providing medals and preparing them before knowing the outcome of the game. And I don't bother remembering who he played, but I'm sure you know who he played.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I don't know. What's the? Do you remember?
It's Magpies. We beat them 14-3 in that final. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a fairly strong team, and not one that we were expecting to win against. And like we were really expecting a really tough game if we were even gonna like hold our own. And so that score line was like just something else. And then Seb comes out with this box of medals, and we're all just laughing. We're like, as if they were all engraved, so we knew for sure that you had them made beforehand. And we're like, what would you have done with these? And we're all convinced that you would have just like never spoken about it again. Like they would be hidden somewhere, like under your bed, for sure.
Landfill, 100%.
Yeah. Never happened. The other thing is like the drinks. So I was generally playing on the Louis Riel team. So like a lot of the times after the season, we'd all go out to Blackburn Arms for a drink, having fun just as a team away from the pitch, having chats. Those were always fun. I always appreciated that. The first club awards that you, like that was awesome. I didn't get to make it to the last one, but just the fact that you're able to pull that off and bring together like such a community of people who are all like super great people, super friendly. We all get along. It's just a nice thing that you're able to bring all those people together and have them like bond the way that they have. And just last was like just generally how our team was able to overcome like, I'll say like more talented teams in a sense, but like where the other teams had a lot of individual talents. And then our like this strong bond we had as a team and like just our experience playing together and our good attitude, we'd be able to like overcome them and beat them out of nowhere and really piss some people off, I think. And that was a good memory.
I'm really touched by everything that you've said. Like, I'm really happy because that's always what I've strived to like kind of achieve with all of this sense of community. So I'm always really touched to hear these things and to like, you're the fourth member of the Monday Get Swifty team that I interview. And the thing about you guys is like, you play in Division 2 and you're greater than the sum of your parts, like Erica said. Like, honest to God, like you guys, it's just from all the years of playing together. And there are teams that take a look at us and go, their name is Get Swifty. Like, look at them. Like, what do they have? Like, how are they going to do this? And then
our average age is now in the early 30s.
I mean, the average age, because some of the players that used to bring the average age down are no longer playing. But I think, I'm not sure how old Erica is, but the sisters bring it down now. But it should be in the 30s. It should be in the early 30s because Oren, Jamie, Mike, Nathan are
all the same year, I think.
Yeah, they're nearing their mid 30s now rather than their early 30s. So, and Jarvo too. So, but yeah, that's very true. I would agree with you on like how teams some get pissed off. They're like, how are we not winning against these guys?
Yeah.
Really, really great shares. It's brought a lot of nostalgic memory back for me as well. We're going to go to a completely different question before we jump into Pivot's 10, which is,
Okay.
which member would you go to war with?
I have a total PC answer for this based on what I just said. Like everyone.
Oh,
Because when you go to war, you're expecting people to have your back. And what, like, that's a team. And that's, I think we've shown that that's how we play. We all have each other's backs. We're better than the sum of our parts. And that's why. So I think that's a fair answer.
I think that's a fantastic answer. You know, it can be, there is no right or wrong. Like if that's what you genuinely feel, then that's fantastic. So I would say that makes me happy, to be honest, because it means that there's no one that you wouldn't want, that you would want to exclude.
Except for one person.
Yeah, he's wearing a toque right now, but anyways. um Amazing. Like Kara, it's been really great going down memory lane with you and just hearing your perspective of how things have been over the last 8 years. And now we're going into my
Rapid fire.
favorite Pivot's 10 questions. I don't know if at this point I've worked out the title card, but if it is, insert. Otherwise, let's go on. All right, so rapid fire, 10 questions, answer with whatever you've got. What is your favorite word?
That took me a while. I need one of those charts. If someone could just follow me around, and you know the charts that show like all the words where you get bigger.
Yeah.
Um, and then I thought of a sucker one. And right now, my favorite word is mommy, because when when Cooper says it, like sometimes it's like mama, mommy, not that one, but then there's sometimes where he's like mommy, and that one just like melts your heart. So that's one of my favorite words right now.
That's fair. That's fair. I feel like that's a parent experience because Adele had a very similar answer for what sound you love. So that's that's
Um,
that's a
yeah,
heartbreaker.
I feel like the sound for the sound too. It's like for sure baby giggling, and it's not even a parent thing. I just think like sometimes if you go on YouTube and just like look at babies laughing compilations, like there's something so heartwarming about it because it's like they have just so much joy. Like they don't know anything else. It's just joy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a very good point. I will confess to never looking
Never
at
watching baby
baby giggling playlist, but I'll take your word for it. Uh what is your least favorite word?
irregardless or yes.
Irregardless, that's so random.
Because it's not a word. It drives me crazy. People say it all the time. But yes.
Irregardless of that though, the yas is funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just been watching a lot of like trashy reality
Mhm.
TV to get me through, and it's come up a few times, and it makes me like shudder every time.
Okay. What I'm gonna change this question from what turns you on to what excites you emotionally, spiritually, or physically.
Okay, that's pretty much the same thing, at
Yeah.
least.
It
So, I mean, for me, it's I wrote it down because I picked two. Is
yeah.
good attitude and a sense of humor.
Mhm.
I think that goes for like friendships, like romantic partnerships, like anything. Like if you have someone who has a sense of humor and a good attitude, they can laugh about stuff. You're golden.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And the reason why I've kind of changed the phrasing of the question for everyone is because the what turns you on has made everybody uncomfortable because no one wants to say anything sexual on record. So I'm just now leaning into the fact that I'm asking, something other than that. So on that note, like what turns you off emotionally, spiritually, or physically?
Arrogance and selfishness. Oh,
Mm.
there's nothing worse. Like you could have a super good looking person, and if you throw in that like just selfishness and arrogance, it just brings them down in my books. And it kind of removes that attraction that they were working with to begin with. So
Okay, that's fair. Very, very fair. What sound or noise do you love?
Well, we talked about those, the baby giggling.
Okay.
So if you want to feel your heart like balloon, just go on YouTube and look at baby giggling videos.
Well, those are my Saturday night plans, Kara. So
There you go.
what sound or noise do you hate?
The nails on chalkboard sound.
Mm,
Mm,
yeah.
can't do it.
What is your favorite curse word?
The F word. And it's
Yes.
gonna be we're pretty bad around here. And like now that we have a little one who can like repeat things and
Yeah.
talk a little, where you have to be like really careful. And I know for sure when someone's like, "Oh, Cooper said the F word," and we'd be like, "Yeah," like that's on us for sure. As long as he's using it properly, you know?
As long as it's in the right context.
Yeah.
Um, what profession other than your own would you like to try?
I would say writer or teacher.
Oh, that's two for writers. That's very interesting. A lot of
Yeah, I
people.
saw that Erica said that too, and I was like, oh.
That's cool. Here's a question I didn't ask Erica. What kind of what genre would you like to write in?
Probably fantasy or like high fantasy or yeah,
That's pretty cool.
or fictional.
That's cool. That's a thread that I would love to unravel at a different time because I know that you have a leniency towards a lot of fantasy gaming and just and
I'm a
what you
giant nerd, yes.
well, I mean, so am I, but just on different things.
Anyone ever wants to talk to me about Dungeons and Dragons or Game of Thrones or anything in that vein or Xbox or PS4?
Awesome. What profession would you never want to do?
Okay. So I work for the government in like a tall building downtown, and every now and then you see people dangling outside of your window washing the windows. No, never. Our building is 29 stories tall, and like I could not do it. Like you see them and they're just dangling there from a rope. It's not even that I'm like that scared of heights, but that I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, that would be very nerve-wracking, and all to wash a few windows.
I'm like, it was clean. I could see through it. It was fine. Like,
That's a very interesting answer. I hadn't thought of those people in a long time because I don't live in a building, so I never see them cleaning the outside. So that's
yeah.
really
You see
interesting.
them? It's windy and cold. I'm good.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I'd be good on that too. And and to wrap this all up,
Mhm.
if heaven exists, what would you want God to say to you when you reach the pearly gates?
This is a hard question. I think you know that. So I had to think about it for a while. But at the end of the day, I think this whole experience is all about love. So I think you'd be like, good, like you were loved and you loved. And like that was the point. So
Yeah, that's a that's a touching answer. Like touching is the word that's on my head right now. Like that would it's very similar to the sentiment that a lot of us share and I appreciate that response because it's something that I would want to hear too similar from God, assuming they exist. So and I do like that question because it forces people to kind of succinctly summarize what they want out of life, what their meaning of life is,
yeah.
and in a way. So, you know, like for Erica, it was self-sustaining. You know, she didn't need an answer from God. She just needed her own reassurance that she lived the right life. And
Hmm.
then Dubord had a very similar answer to Jamie, and Adele just had a funny answer. So it's just funny. Kara, it's been again fantastic catching up with you and listening to everything to all of your very interesting answers here today. And I'd like to thank everybody at home for tuning in for Getting to Know. This will be the last time that I remind everybody on the show to send me their TP videos. After this, I will be texting you individually. I hope to have the video out before May 6th, the new toilet paper video before May 6th. So please submit everything before the 4th so I have time to edit it. As for this show, this has been released on Wednesday, so I will see everybody in the next one. Adios.
Our dog's name is Fox.
Nice. Your dog's name is Fox?
Yeah. It's not going to confuse Cooper at all.